Hi everyone, this is the first lesson recording for IM1 August 28th. So if you're watching this video because you are absent from the class, you need to contact me as soon as possible because we actually started off with our very first quiz. So you need to contact me so that we can arrange a time we can meet so that you can do this quiz. Alright, so what did we do for the lesson? We did some fun magic number math. Okay, what does that mean? This is where you're thinking up a number in your head. You're not telling me, but you're giving me your answer and I'll tell you what you started up with. Okay, what number you were thinking up. Okay, so the way it works is you pick a number, any number, usually between, I don't know, -50 to +50. Let's just keep it simple. You double whatever the number it is, and then you add 5 to it. Okay? So then, whatever that number that you ended up in, you're going to put that answer in the chat. So, for example, one student said that she ended up with number 83. Okay, then from there, I could guess that the original number that she started off with was 39. Or if a student said, I ended up with -25, I knew that the original number she started off with was -15. Or if a student said she ended up with 29 as their final answer, then I knew that the original number she started off with was 12. Okay, how did I do that? Well, it's not really a magic. It's really just that I undid the operations in reverse order to find the number that you started off with. And that's actually just math. Okay, so to demonstrate, I am going to go through yet another problem. Okay, similar, you pick another number this time, okay, and divide it by 2. Whatever the number is, divide it by 2, and then to it, subtract 1 from the result. Okay, so, and then type in your chat. Type in your answer in the chat. Okay, so let's just say a student answers and got the final answer to be 22. Okay, then I can straight away guess that the original number that she started off with was 46. How did I do that? Well, I undo the operation. So what is the undo operation? Well, what did I do was that instead of subtracting 1 from the result, I added 1 to whatever the number she said. Okay, so she said 22, so I added 1 to it, so that became 23. And to it, I then multiply that number by 2. So 23 times 2 is 46. And that's how I knew that she started off with 46. Okay, so what did I do? Notice the order. Okay, when I am undoing things, I don't undo things from the order that I do. It's actually in the reverse order. So what was the last thing that I did? I subtracted 1. So how can I undo subtract 1? I add 1 to it, okay, to the number. How can I undo divide by 2? What is the opposite of dividing? It's multiplication, okay? So instead of dividing by 2, I am going to multiply the result by 2. So the two opposite operations, or we call it inverse operations. What's opposite of subtract is addition. What's opposite of addition is subtraction. What's opposite of division? It's multiplication. What's opposite of multiplication? It's division. Okay, so here we go. Let's take some notes. Undoing operation. To undo an add, we subtract. To undo a multiply, we divide. To undo subtract, we add. And to undo divide, we multiply. So division and multiplication is opposite. And subtraction and addition, they are opposite and they undo each other. So let's put that in for real, okay? So guess my number 1. So if I pick the number, and when I added 5 to it and then multiply by 2, I got 30. So could I guess what the number was? Okay, so if a friend picked the number and added 5 to it and then multiplied by 2, and you got 30, then what is the original number that we're starting with? Well, we're going to start to find the original number. We're going to write down the undo operations. Okay, again, we are going to go in the reverse order. It's sort of like when you're getting up to get dressed to go out. You put your socks on first, and then you put your shoes on, right? To undo, okay, to take your shoes off and to take your socks off, you don't start off by taking your socks off first. You need to take your shoes off first and then your socks off. Okay, so you need to do what was done last, then followed by what you did first. Okay, so you have to go in the reverse order. So not only do we do the opposite operation, but we also need to do it in the reverse order. So what's the last thing that we did to the number? We multiplied by 2. So we need to undo that multiplication by 2. So how do we undo multiplication by 2? We divide by 2. Okay, what's opposite of multiply? It's divide. Okay, and then to it, because we added 5 to it, what is the opposite of adding 5? We subtract 5. Okay, so now let's put that into math. So to 30, what do we need to do? We need to first divide that number we have by 2, because that was the very last thing that was done to it, and then we got 15. Okay, the result was 15, and then to it, now we have to subtract 5. Okay, so we have to subtract 5 from 15, and you get 10. So the original number, the question mark number that we didn't know, turns out to be number 10. Okay, we can certainly check. We can say that 10, if you add 5 to it, then that becomes 15. Okay, and then if you multiply that by 2, 15 times 2 is 30, and that's the number you should get. Okay, so we're doing and undoing. We're trying to go reverse way to figure out what the unknown number was. Okay, so, and that tells me that the number that I picked was number 10. Okay, so this time I want you to guess my number. So I picked a number. When I multiplied it by 3 and then subtracted it by 4, I got 11. Okay, so can you figure out what the number that I started off with? Okay, so how would I go about that? Remember, whatever you did first, we need to go in the reverse order. So just like taking your shoes off first, in order to take your socks off, you need to do it in reverse order. So I am going to undo subtract by 4. How do I undo subtract by 4? I need to add 4 to it. Now that I've undone the subtract by 4, I need to do opposite. I need to undo multiply by 3. How do I undo multiply by 3? I divide by 3. Okay, so we start by putting it in words, put it in English words, and then we can do the undo steps to find our number. Okay, so we started off with 11. The first thing we need to do to find the number was add 4. So 11 plus 4 is 15. And then to that, we need to divide by 3. So we needed to divide 15 by 3, which is 5. Okay, so then I know that the original number was 5. And we can even check that. What if I just multiply 5 by 3? That's 15. And then 15 subtract by 4, take away 4 is 11. And that's the number I get. Okay? Alright, so you're going to be working in your team. And you're going to be practicing this together. You're going to play the role of audience. And then you're going to take turns playing the role of magicians. And you're going to use Jamboard. You're going to follow the instruction to calculate the answer. So the audience is going to do that and write down the answer for someone else to figure out the magic number. So first thing is everybody's going to become an audience, and then we're going to trade sheets, and then everybody's going to play the magician. Okay, and the magician will undo the operation and use them to find the magic number. So when you get in your groups, the resource manager is the person number 1. That's the person with the name that is, when you put your name in the alphabetical order, that comes first. So that resource manager is going to make 1 copy of the Jamboard per person, and I'm going to put that link in the chat, and rename the document and share it with everyone in your team. And me, yvanhorn@cuhsd.org, and this instruction is on the Jamboard as well. And then task manager, your job is to make sure that everybody's moving together. Okay, not one person is not going ahead, but everybody's working together. Okay, and for team questions, if you have any, just call on me for help and I'll hop on over. Okay. Okay, so this is what your Jamboard would look like. So once you've made a copy of this, this is what your Jamboard will look like. In fact, it will say copy of. So your first thing you're going to do is the resource manager is going to share Jamboard with everyone in the team and me. And then you're also going to change the document title. So write the period number, so your period 4, 5, or 6, and also your group name. If you have a group name, please put it in there so that I can recognize who you are. Okay. Each person, you're going to pick 1 frame, and then pick a magic number and jot it in your notebook somewhere so that you can check with the person who found your magic number, and use the instruction to calculate your result. Write your answer in that page and wait until everyone is done writing their results. Okay, and then when everybody is done from your team, then you pick a different frame, a frame that somebody else has filled in, and then write down the undo operations and use the undo operation to figure out the original magic number. And then finally you check your answer with the person who created the frame. So for example, this is what the frame will look like. Okay, so each person will find the frame, everybody gets a different one, and you enter, and everybody's going to have a different role. Okay, pick a magic number and jot that number down somewhere, and then to that number subtract 2 from it, and then multiply by 3. Okay, and whatever the result is, you're going to put it right here. Okay, and then you're going to wait for everybody else to be done with their own frame. And then afterwards you are going to trade the frame. So just pick a different frame. So you're going to pick a frame that somebody else has created, and now you're going to play the role of magician. What are the sequence of undo operations? So if you look at this operation, that's what was done to it. What are the sequence of undo operation? I need you to write it down in words, and then you need to do it in math to find the magic number. And once you're done with that, you need to go back to the person. Okay, notice that it says enter your name here, enter your name here, so that you can go back to say Julie. Okay, she created it, so Anthony put their name, his name here because he is the magician. Goes back to Julie and checks with her what the original number was, and then make sure that is correct. Okay, so I hope you have fun with this. Okay.